credit cards for civil workers are going to get frozen because we need to reassess the spending amounts that our civil servants are doing. So
so like the credit cards that are given to our civil servants to expend.
Apparently, everyone's been on a bonanza, and I think I'm not going to tell you what I think yet. But let's just hit you with the headline. I want your reaction on it.
Thousands of civil service credit cards are set to be cancelled, cut in half, as part of effort to reduce government spending, after it was revealed that more than £675 million was spent using.
£675 million. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
In the last year alone, and many of the purchases made by civil servants are little short of outrageous.
Okay, so many of the purchases are outrageous. Lovely jubbly. Okay.
Yeah.
Cardholders will be needing to justify their need to use one, or they're going to be revoked.
The announcement comes as the government prepares to announce drastic cuts to disability benefits. Of course, we've heard about the opposition from a number of Labour MPs and campaigners.
Okay, so we've got
the.
Well, this is it. So we're talking about credit card debt by civil servants per year, 675 million. Now let's hit them with disability. As I wear my shirt that looks like a Weatherspoon's plate. Okay, so now they're gonna invite in this tosser right here. I don't know who he is, right? But, you know, whatever. He's gonna come in and he's gonna explain the PIP, the PIP reductions, all that type of stuff, right? Because they're trying to justify. Well, how dare you take the disability things, but then also the civil service people are eating in the finest restaurants and having ridiculous things. So we're going to skip that because let's not mix the subject. Let's just keep this strictly about the credit cards. Yeah.
Have now boiled over when they've heard of the kind of purchases that have been made on civil servants' credit cards, which of course is spending our money, spending taxpayers' money. We've heard about luxury shoes.
Okay, so let's remind people.
Yep, they're spending our money.
The money's coming out of our pockets, yeah?
Yeah,
all right, let's go.
Who's been bought in Barbados, for example. We've heard of other expenditure, which just seems to baffle people. I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise to see a claim for old rope being made on one of these credit cards.
So how is it baffling people if this is the first that we've heard about it?
Yeah, exactly. Sensationalism. It's just sensationalism. That's all it is.
Hence money for old rope. How bad would you accept the problem has become of the misuse of government credit cards?
Well, that's why I've called a halt to this. Expenditure on these cards has quadrupled in recent years. There's 20,000 of them in circulation.
Okay, fantastic figure. 20,000 credit cards. Now, I would love to understand how many civil servants there are in the UK. Audience, you create your own conclusions, right? 20,000 civil service workers have credit cards. Let's play.
And some of the examples which you've read out were brought to my attention, and I said we've got to change this system. So what we've done is we've suspended these cards, except in some very limited circumstances for people working in conflict areas overseas. And
James Bond, basically.
Yeah. The people who have them, everybody's going to have to reapply to justify it. I think we'll see the number issued drastically cut in future.
Okay, so Andrew, did you get the figure on how many civil?
I did it. We have 519, well, almost 520,000, of which 487,600 are full time.
So 20,000 out of 487,000 workers, let's call it.
Yeah, it's about 6%.
5 to 6% of the workers have credit cards.
Yeah.
So far, we're at the following. These are the only facts that have been told to us, right? 675 million in debt in credit cards last year. Of which 20,000 workers out of, I'm going to be generous here because we're going to go only for the full time, 7,600 workers have credit cards.
We're also going to reduce the expenditure limit on them from £2,500 to £500.
We're going to reduce from £2,500 to £500. So that means the existing limit on each one of those credit cards is £2,500.
Because it is taxpayers' money, and it's important that it's treated with respect.
Because they've been respectful all along, right? People weren't paying. Well, people weren't paying for their mortgages on taxpayer money, and none of that happened under Labour or anything like that. Of course, right, Andrew? You know, we're so ethical. We've just discovered this expenditure, so we're outraged. We're absolutely outraged. Oh,
we never noticed 675 million until just the other day.
Taking the proverbial, haven't they?
Well, anything which has quadrupled in expenditure in recent years should beg the question.
How many years?
Yeah.
How many years?
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, Andrew, could you do me another favour?
Sure.
Could you Google how many civil servants we had in, let's call it 2020?
Yeah.
Let's see how that figure's grown.
6,000, so it's grown by 20,000.
Fantastic. That's great. And then next one, can we do 2015?
406,000. But
So, can I ask you a question? 487,000 employees.
Yeah.
Full-time employees, civil
Yeah.
servants. 5 to 6% of them, 20,000 of them have
Yeah.
credit cards. Yeah. Well, if 20,000 were issued,
Yeah.
surely they applied for the credit cards in the first place.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah.
Because not all of them got it. You didn't just go into the office and just
No,
receive
exactly.
a civil service credit card. So those were issued anyway. The manager, whoever applies. So all these guys doing is revoking the credit cards and reissuing them.
Them. Yeah.
And then repackaging this as an efficiency initiative.
Which will actually cost us money for somebody to do this.
Wow, it hadn't even occurred to me, Andrew.
What, these luxury shoes that were bought in Barbados? Hundreds and hundreds of pounds spent on shoes.
£2,500.
Luxury I'm flabbergasted. Luxury shoes bought in Barbados.
Yeah.
Audience, I implore to you, I beg you, anyone who may listen to this podcast, can someone please tell me what luxury shoes are made in Barbados?
Don't know. You know, that's what I was going to ask. What is a luxury shoe? I mean,
Andrew, for all I know, this could have been a diplomat from the UK going to Barbados. He forgot his shoes, and he's going to have a presidential meeting with the president of Barbados, and he's decided to buy himself a pair of shoes at the duty free for £200, and they've classed that as luxury shoes.
but Mency,
No, but do you get what I'm trying to? Do you get what I'm getting at here?
what I don't understand is it's almost like a scripted soap opera. You know, the words that are being used, luxury shoes. Instead of just saying they bought shoes for £2,500, luxury shoes for £2,500.
It's debt porn.
Yeah.
They're trying to rile us up.
Yeah,
about-
absolutely. Yeah.
By the way, for anyone watching, I'm not saying that this can't be more efficient, but I promise you, this is not at the top list of efficiencies. This isn't where it lives. We are falling trap to the same DOGE crap that they're doing in the US.
Yeah, £2,500. Why? Do you know why?
No, I don't. And it's because of lines of expenditure like that being drawn to my attention that I've said we need to change this. And that's what we're going to do. And that's the change that I've announced today.
Right.
Of the media room to make it look less blue. That was £80,000. Our Laura Tobin's just finished repainting the inside of her house. I'm sure she could do it for less than 80 grand.
Get Laura around. Get Laura involved. She sounds like...
Okay, Andrew, ask your question, and then we're going to go into that whole repainting of the job for 80 grand.
Right. So my question is, have they actually given us any figures as to how much of that expenditure was actually repaid out of people's personal pockets? Now, you used to have a company credit card. I think you still do. I'm not sure. I used to have a company credit card, and we used to go out on with clients. We used to go out on events. We used to go on sales kickoffs, and we would put in our expenses, Mency, and the company would say, this is approved, this is approved. Oh, hang on a second, you've just bought luxury shoes. Not approved, you're going to have to pay that back. Where's those figures?
They've just pivoted to the rebranding of the
media room. Yeah.
Media room. What the hell does that have to do with a £2,500 credit card?
Nothing. It's just, again, sensationalism. Let's justify the other cuts that we're going to make by showing you, look at where else we're saving money. Let's take away the attention on disability.
You do a good job. No, but seriously,
I could.
80 grand to make a room a bit less blue. It's outrageous, isn't it?
Well, look, you know, the expenditure on the room was a great deal more, I think, in the last under the last government.
Oh, take care. Card. No. Come on, let's talk about this expenditure. Let's never mind the last government. Can you justify 80 grand on?
I'm not justifying the cost, but this is a whole room. It's a media room. It's going to need a designer. It's going to be up in front of the whole masses. It's hardly the least important room in the world. This is a studio set. Maybe we could get that price down by 10 grand, maybe 20 grand. But in the grand scheme of things, is this headline worthy?
Mate, you know what? It's not Joe Bloggs going down to B&Q, picking up a few cans of Dulux paint and a roller and going up and down. This is what is going to come to somebody's mind. What is our civil servants doing shopping in Barbados?
Andrew, can I also ask you a question? What's 2,500 multiplied by 20,000?
I knew you was going to ask me that. Yeah, so what I did was I divided 675 million by 20,000. That comes to 33,700.
So if the credit card spending limit is 2,500, how does that work?
Exactly.
Well, it's talking rubbish. This whole thing doesn't have to do with credit. They've bundled up other figures into it.
Oh, of course they have.
This doesn't add up. This doesn't add up. It's just a wind up. But let's finish this video.
De-bluing a room.
Look, the room is there for media purposes. It needs some expenditure on it. Maybe we could have got Laura around at a cheaper cost, but we'll always take care to have value for money in the expenditure.
What about Lisa Nandy's
department?
department?
Why I've announced.
What about Lisa
That's why I've
Nandy's?
announced this change on credit cards.
What about Lisa Nandy's department spending almost £1,200 on 2 leather folders, cost of nearly £600 each? Could have been bought for 30 quid.
Okay. This one right here was challenging for me.
Right.
What do you think? £1,200 for that folder?
No, for 2 of those.
For 2 of those. 600 a pop.
So I can see it costing that.
Yep.
Right? Because you've got the embroidery, the gold embossing or whatever it's called, you know, they're proper leather, etc., etc. These sort of things, they're government documents, you know, it's almost like, you know, when they do the budget and they've got the traditional, yeah.
How much do you think that suitcase that they put at the front, how much?
Exactly, yeah. You can't go down to Ryman's and buy a couple of ring binders and walk around with it. It's not going to happen.
Well, last time that happened, they ended up in a park bench, didn't they?
Exactly, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
exactly. Was leaked.
Yeah.
Andrew,
yeah, look, it's got embossing on it. It's leather. You know, it's probably been handmade. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I get that.
Andrew, I'm pretty. So okay. So let's go through the facts, right? We've just done the forensics on this.
Yeah. Tell
me how you really feel about this. Okay. So, in fact, can we just play it one more time? One more time for the audience, okay? These are the first 40 seconds. This is the way they opened up this segment.
Credit cards are set to be cancelled, cut in half, as part of efforts to reduce government spending, after it was revealed that more than £675 million was spent using them in the last year alone.
Okay.
Stop there. Stop. I'm saying they were spent using them, right? But it doesn't say that it wasn't spent on government business, or it doesn't say non-government stuff was not repaid. It just spent that you've spent $2.5 grand on your credit card. I spent 10 grand on my credit card. Now, I didn't go and spend it on, you know, a new telly for me or whatever. I spent it on double glazing, a justifiable expense. Now, nowhere does it say on this stupid sensational journalism, right, that this money was spent for non-government, for personal use. If it was 600 or whatever the figure was on personal use, I'd be outraged.
The figures don't add up.
Yeah.
So for me, this could be £675 million was spent using them.
Yeah.
A portion of it was.
Exactly.
And the rest of it was a different budget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or a portion of it was spent on personal expenses that was never paid back.
But let's go through the figures. 675 million.
Yep.
Distributed amongst, let's just assume that they've done a boo-boo and that's really what was spent on the credit cards. Spent amongst 20,000 credit cards. Each credit card had a £2,500 spending limit,
Yep.
which now, after this guy has all of a sudden discovered this, he's going to reduce it to 500. And he says that he's now going to make it mandatory that everyone applies for them. We've done a bit of Google and realised that there's 520,000 civil service workers, of which only 487,600 of them are full-time employees.
Yeah.
So 20,000 out of the 487,600 employees have a credit card, which stands about between 5 and 6% of
Yeah.
the workforce actually have access to these credit cards. So there's a contradiction there, because why do only 5% of them have credit cards? Well, it must have been that they applied to them.
They applied for them.
Their job was given that. So what he's going to do is, in order to fix this big problem that's going to somehow be related to the disability problem and the PIP and all of that stuff, that he'll be able to get to them, is we're going to revoke those credit cards.
Yep.
Then we're going to spend administration process
Yep.
money getting them the credit cards back,
Yep.
and then we're going to lower the limit to 500,
Yep.
so that then they can then do more paperwork to
Correct.
justify anything over that,
Yep.
and all of that is going to make this much more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a winner. This is it just I don't get it, mate. As I say, it's sensational journalism with the way that it's been presented, and also this guy's gone on TV said to try and go, look how clever I am, look how I'm looking after the public purses.
I blame the lady in the Weatherspoon shirt. Honestly, I think her name's Susanna, whatever.
Susanna, yeah.
And that Richard from Richard and Judy, I think that's
Yeah.
what a load of tossers. They are exploiting people that aren't really looking into either that, or I'm the biggest wally. You know what? People in the comments, if you disagree with this analysis, please educate me. Educate me on how this is good journalism and how these figures make sense. And how 675 million credit card expenditure is closely tied to disability allowance being reduced across the country.
It's smoke. There's not enough information. How much of it was on personal, if any, and how much of that was repaid? And if none of it was repaid, or some of it was not repaid, then that's what they should be going on about, not the total sum that was spent on a credit card. It could be spent, going on a trip. It could be spent buying stuff to make their job work. I mean, they were given these credit cards for a reason. Yeah, they were given them for a reason. Because they needed it for expenses to do their job, right?
Yep.
So, like you say, you can imagine James Bond, oh, sorry, mate, can you buy me another shaken, not stirred martini because I've only got a 500 limit?
Well, thank you very much, Andrew.
No, thank you. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Take care. Please comment, everyone, or give this a like, or give it a dislike. Do whatever you want, but let us know how you feel about this one.
Yeah.